and it will also include your password. Once you get both of those, you can go to app.cibchat.com and you'll get the login. Once you log in, you're presented with your dashboard. The dashboard shows how many leads you've had, how much traffic you've had over the last 7 days, 14 days, and the total that you've had since you've joined up. On the top here, you'll show that all of the bots that you have available to you that you've created. And this here shows you how many you have compared to how many you have available. This account here is an unlimited account, and so you can see it has an unlimited number that you can create. The other options that you have are under your profile. Your profile is going to allow you to set your name, change your email address, and if you're using Zapier, it has an API key that you can enter in. Zapier is an integration utility that will allow you to pass your data from your chats into Zapier. Zapier then be used to forward that data into thousands of different applications, including email and your CRMs. So let's go back to the dashboard. In the dashboard, you're going to see that you can have your existing bots. You can either edit them, rename them, delete them, duplicate them, or clone them. Have a share, which brings up a link that you can share with anybody else who has a CibiChat account. So if you have a bot that you built that you really like and you want to share it with somebody else who has CibiChat, you can copy this and forward it to them. Then you can also submit the bot to the gallery. The gallery goes to the administrator. The administrator then has the ability to approve the bot to make it available to anybody else within your CibiChat instance. First of all, let's go look at one of the bots that's available. I'll use this clinic one that we have, which covers a few different items. The first thing you're going to do when you get into an edit is that you'll come up with your widget style. Here you can specify whether you want the widget to turn up in the bottom right corner or the bottom left corner of your screen. There's some systems by default it goes to the bottom right, but there's some apps that you may have, such as mobility or accessibility options that are already using this corner, and so you can easily move it to the other corner. Let's keep it to the right. Here you give it a title of the widget itself. When you open the widget, I'll clear this out here, it shows it at the top of the window. You have a welcome message that is when the first time you open it up. This is going to be a welcome message there. The call to action is what happens if you are waiting, you log into your site, and a little panel will come up here saying, are you looking for guidance? You can then specify whether you want it to appear on all pages or only specific pages. This here is a demo instance, and so I have it on a specific page that contains the phrase CibiChat Urology. You have a fallback message that if you have any questions that have been answered that are out of line, that don't match anything in the data that you have it trained, it will follow up with this message here. You also have the ability to add an avatar. You can remove the avatar or change it. And you also have the ability to change your color schemes, which is the background here. Here we have a green, and I'll put it back to the blue. If you have your own branding, you can enter in the code here and get your own custom colors. The next thing we want to look at are the settings. The settings are where you can enable or disable any bot at any time. If you're using Google Spreadsheet to collect your data, you enter in your spreadsheet ID. I will go into another application that will go a little bit deeper into integration, but to show you quickly, if you're using Google Sheets, you go in and you create a new sheet. When you create the new sheet, what you want to do is to grab the information from this first slash after the D up to the data that comes up to the edit. This is going to be your sheet ID. You just copy that, come back into your bot, and paste it into your sheet ID. When you get the Apple script, you'll want to then add a script to it. The script is here. You just copy this information, go back into your spreadsheet, and from here, go into extensions, app script, and then you paste it in. You could see that from that point on, that was not being recorded, but you would, again, I will have another integration script, another video for that. Here for email notifications, you enter in which emails you would like it to go anytime somebody submits starts a conversation and finishes it, you'll be notified with the content. Again, if you're using Zapier, you can create webhooks. I personally use Make, which is another tool similar to Zapier. And here I entered in my my Make webhook. If you want to have it show up only in certain domains, you can specify the domains that you want your bot to be available to. Here you can specify if you want to save the responses or no. I always do save the responses. The conversation cache timeout is a very important feature. By default, it's a rather high number, like 90 minutes, 180 seconds, 180 minutes. And so I normally drop it way back down to 3 minutes, or 5 minutes is normally the length of a time that somebody spends on a bot with conversation. You really don't need to go much beyond that. Branding at certain levels, if you have the growth or enterprise package, you can disable branding. Otherwise, it's going to show the CibiChat branding. Again, more integration. If you're using MailChimp, you can use their API key. If you have Klaviyo, you can use that. And if you're doing internationalization, depending on the language you can use, you can then specify your replies and your answers and your fallbacks. And so, again, these would be in the foreign language that you want. Once you're into an AI conversation, the ChatGPT, which is used as the main tool, will automatically translate into the language that you're using. However, the chat bot itself is all in English unless you internationalize it. And so by default, everything is going to be in English. If you start your conversation in another language, it will translate into that language automatically. From your reporting, it just shows basically how many leads you've had over the last 7, 14, and the lifetime of the bot. If you wish to use only an AI mode will be the first thing that pops up, and will go directly into a trained conversation. By trained, if you understand what GPT is, it is a generative pre-trained transformer. And so what that means is your pre-training is all done within your business context. In your business context is where you're going to want to describe how you want the bot to respond, whether you want it to be professional, if you want it to be funny, if you want it to describe your business, act as a salesperson, act as a consultant. There's many different ways. You have 65,000 characters, which is a huge amount of data to train your bot on. In your responses, this is going to show all of the conversations that I've had. You can look at them over, delete them. You can send them to an CSV or into Excel, or if you want to clear them out completely. Your AI chat log is going to be, if you're using the AI mode, it's going to list all of your conversations here. Integration code is what's used if you want to, when you're going to implement it on your website. Depending on the website that you're using, you can use an universal code. If you're using Go High Level, which is a web-based multi-purpose CRM and email. It's a beautiful, wonderful package. You can add the code there. If you're doing an inline, you can have the code here. When you're using inline, you can then specify what you want your desktop views and your mobile view sizing to be. And then you have your image considerations again for your embedded bot. The Flow Builder is where you're going to spend most of your time. Flow Builder is a drag and drop utility that allows you to specify how you want your bot to respond. You have a bunch of different widgets that you can bring in that are called blocks. You have a message, which is a standard message. It just displays text on your screen. You can then have questions. Questions are asking for your email, your phone number, things that you want to be able to record from your visitor. Email is a specific one that has rules that will look for an @ sign and a dot. And so if somebody just enters an email that says test, it's going to say that that doesn't look like a valid email address. But if you had test@test.com, it will understand that and accept that. A multi-choice allows you to branch off into different options. And I will go through some of these. A new option is once you specify a multi-choice, you add which option you want. AI mode is a mode that's similar to the AI only mode, but it is followed up in a flow like this. And here I have an AI mode specified. If you want to add images at any time, you can have an image pop up as part of your conversation. The same with a video. As a step in your workflow, you can have videos. A loop is going to loop back once it gets to the bottom to another predefined choice in your workflow. A redirect is going to redirect it to a URL that will jump off to a different page. And if you're using your own website, it doesn't have the ability to open in a new window or a new tab. And so it's going to reset the screen you're on into a new page. And this would be good for things like a scheduling or an appointment page, that if you want somebody to be able to quickly jump to that, you can have an option to be appointments. And then once they hit that appointment, it will redirect to an appointment page. Since this is a demo system that I have set up right now, I don't have any calendar pages to redirect it to. At other points, you can save the data, and this just automatically sends it into a system. So if you want to automatically send it to your email or your spreadsheet or your CRM through a webhook, this is where the saved data will then initiate that save process. So let's look at this workflow here. The workflow message, you want to give it a block name, and then you have your text. And so your message text, you have your bold, italic, and you can embed a link on that. And then you can have a delay for your conversation. So initially, if you have this block here, it's going to pretty much bring up the next block. But if you want it to look like you're thinking about it and the conversation is actually being processed, you can specify a delay of how many seconds you want it to look like it's thinking. A question, you want to give it a name. Now, when you give it a name, a block name, this variable, this name becomes a variable. So here I have to start, can I get your name? The next one I have is for email. So then it's saying the block is named email. Thank you. And then we have the open brace, and then the variable close brace, which now will then, when the person starts in their conversation, it's going to say, what was your name? My name is Chuck. And then it's going to say, thanks, Chuck. Now can I get you an email? So I'm going to just say thanks here, since that was a typo. If you're using certain things, you can say only allow numbers. Again, you have your delay. The next is going to be, again, another question in this flow. So in this flow, it's saying welcome, it's getting your name, it's asking for your email, and that's asking for a phone number. After that, it's going to say, great, now what can we help you with? And here you have your options that you want to specify. So in this case, it's going to say either general questions or appointments and location. In this case, this appointments and location, since I don't have a redirect, it just goes to be a message saying you can find us at this address, and here's our phone number. After that, it's going to loop back up to the loop or the block called welcome. And that is this block here. And so it goes all the way back up to the top, and then you can start your conversation anew. So if you did that and you branched back out into your general questions, the first thing you want to do when you use an AI block is to have a message. The message is going to be a question, but if you ask a question, it's going to be waiting for a double prompt. And so just remember, whenever you go into an AI mode, you always want to precede that with a message block and not a question box, even though you can have a question in the message. Once you get into your conversation, here's where you specify your business context. And in this case, it's telling you about how you want the bot to respond. You're friendly, hopeful, passionate about urology. You want to see or want to succeed. You want to keep your responses to 50 words or less. Your sales bot, you want to talk about professional clinic experience. Here it talks about the specialty that they have over 50 years of practice. Their common objections you want to talk about. You want to help them make it a conversation. Ultimately, you want to get them to schedule an appointment and discuss their objectives in detail or the problems that they're having, in this case with the clinic. Here, you target your users. You can specify whatever you want, but in this case, here we're guiding them to offer interactive calendar, telling them if they want to make appointments, go to this phone number. If they ask for an email address, it gives them an email address. If they're doing common questions about billing, have them go to an FAQ. There's a lot of different options that you can help them navigate. Maximum response is 150, even though here I said try to keep it to 50 words or less. You can still have a maximum response if it gets too wordy. And then again, you have your timeout of when you want it to send these to your CRM, your email, or your spreadsheets. So once we're out of here, let's save this flow. Once you save the flow, it's going to have a little box come up down in the bottom right-hand corner that says the changes have been saved. Once you do that, you can return to the bot. So here we'll go into the bot. Here's what we have reaffirmed. How are we ready to help? Can I get your name? Let's go to Chuck. Here, it comes back to thanks, Chuck. Now can I have an email? We'll not use this to send promotional information. So let's go Chuck put that in there. Again, going onward. If you want to enter a phone number, just enter in a phone number. Continue on, and now it's going to ask which direction you want to go. So we can either go into the AI block of general questions or the appointment and locations. If we specify the appointment and location, it's just going to go through. It went through and saved the data, and now it's going to present the message block that shows up. You can find us here with this phone number. Jump back in. Let's go into, again, adding a name. Now, instead of going into the whole block, I could have redirected this right to the choices, and it would have avoided re-entering the name, which I will go and change in a second here. 1, 2, 3. Enter in a number. Sorry about that. And now we'll go into the AI block. So in general questions, first thing is going to be the message, which was actually what questions can I answer. So let's just starting, what are your hours? Here we have 8 to 5, which was put in the pre-trained business context. For a urology clinic, let's ask it, what is a UTI? What is a UTI? Here, UTI is a urinary tract infection, talks about it. Here we can have, is it painful? Yes, it can be painful. So again, you have a conversation that you're having with this trained instance, and it will be however you want your business to respond. So once you're done, you can just close this out. And now if we go into the responses are just showing that here are the general questions. Here we can jump in and look at the conversation it had. And this is all of the information that's going to be sent to email, spreadsheet, or a webhook to go to a CRM. So that is the general capabilities of a CibiChat chat agent. You can see that it is drag and drop. You can have these up and running in 5 or so minutes if you already have your business context for your AI block generated. Again, an AI-only instance can be set up in relatively minutes. Once you have that, again, your flow is set. Go into your integration code, grab this one line of code, and add that to the body of an HTML page on your website, or create it. If you're not a web person, give this to your systems admin, whoever manages your website, and they can then get that implemented. After that, your option is to log out. And that is the CibiChat.